La ilaha illallah.
Yeah, I was just saying that I was a Muslim first, and I was doing like all the things that God ordered us, like the five pillars. I was praying, but I did not really know how to do it in the right way so that God accepted. Because I used to stand up while praying without knowing what it really meant. Like leaning, sometimes I didn't know what it really meant. Like sometimes I was saying Allah Akbar and other things, but I did not really feel it. I was feeling that there was something missing, but I did not really know what it was. And when I was talking one day to my big brother, who was Sheikh Musaa's disciple before me, he just told me that you have to know God. And he took that words from Hadith Qudsi. It means word coming directly from God to the Prophet. And it says, "Tarifuni qabla an ta'buduni," like you have to know God before adoring Him. And I asked him how I had to do that, and how can a spiritual leader give that knowledge to me. So he took me one day to Sheikh Musaa, and we talked to him, and I just submitted myself to him, and he God gave me that knowledge and led me until I got it.
Sufism, it's a long way to go, I would say, because at first I was raised in a modern Murid family, and my mom, all my family, they're all Murid since my birth, and I was raised in an environment where I need to hear about the Hasidas, like the panegyrical, the songs, like everything about Muridism. But at some point, I grew older, around 14, 15. I started to listen to Sing Psalm, and at some point I was discovering more and more about what is it about, like really, because we used to hear a lot about Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, a lot about all the big saints, I would say, a lot about Hazali, and then at some point I realized that I know nothing about it actually, because I heard about Serigne Touba. What can I say about Serigne Touba? When I was younger, the only thing would be like he pray on the water, like in the ocean and stuff. But I went, like I kept listening to old Serigne Sam's conferences and discovered books. And the first book that took my attention at first was Masalikul Jinan, The Ways Unto Heaven. And then from there I started to read, and then it was in French. At some point it was in English, but I discovered like that. And I went more and more, but I was still asking to myself that I missed something. It's not in the books, because I read the Quran, I read The Ways Into Heaven, I read a lot of books, like before even going to Sheikh Musaa. And I was missing something that I would realize it only at the time that I would see it, because I would just feel it. I couldn't explain how or what or what's going to happen, but I was just waiting for that day to come.
That day, I can say that it was really marvelous. I never felt that before. It was like something big, because I was just thinking that all spiritual leaders are those people wearing like big clothes, like well designed, nice cars, like nice house, and just telling you once you're there in front of them, they just ask you what you need. If you just tell them about your life, your success in this financial world, they just tell you to give them your hand, and they just spit on it, like making a prayer for you, and just let you go out without giving you any knowledge. And that was something that kept me before without going to any spiritual leader, because I didn't like it. But when I came to Sheikh Musaa, he was really humble. He was about going out when I was there with my brother, and we went into his room, and he started first by giving us the floor. We started talking, telling him what was our goal, like meaning that we was there just so that I get the knowledge. And after that, he took the floor back and started explaining me that a real spiritual leader has to give you this knowledge, make you understand what's the your rules, what you have to do to get your adorations accepted by God. And I followed that way until now. Like I'm feeling really great.
Uh, it was Misbah. It was a friend. It was a friend and a cousin, and at first I was not taken by the thing that us Yala Yala says that we see God. I was not taken by that because I used to read a lot about Sufism, about how they live, about their way of life actually, and at some point I was reading, and then Misbah came, and Ian, my cousin, he came, and it was just like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm reading Hasidas, I'm praying, and all this stuff. And he was asking me, why would you pray? Do you know who you're praying to? Why do you pray? And extra. But my only answer would be the Quran, would be that's what I need to do. That's one of the 5 pillars. It's not Islam, but it's part of the Sharia and all the stuff. It's laws. But and then one night, I remember we were talking about we were going out or somewhere. We were talking about everything. At some point, God came and we were talking about it and so on and so forth. And then he was just like, what would you say if I tell you to come visit him just to see what he's about, to know him, to maybe ask your questions and stuff? I'm just like, I don't really have questions. The only thing that I know is that the first day I would see Sheikh Musaa, or the first day I would see the one that I need to know really what he's about, that day would come, I would know it right away. I don't need to a lot of speech, a lot of explanation to know it, because I used to have a way of life that I need to feel the things that I'm living. So at some point we went the day after. Actually, I was in my final exam, I think, or the second one. I don't remember well. And then we went there. When we got to the house, we found a girl wandering away, and she said, "Who are you looking for one of the sharing?" Because she used sharing, which could mean a spiritual guide, but he was just asking about who are you looking for, and Misbah says it's Sheikh Musaa only. And then we went upstairs. He said you can go upstairs, he's gonna be there. And then we took the stairs, and right away when we went out of the stairs, we saw him sat down the floor and reading or praying or something. And then we approached silently, calm, and all the stuff. I was seeing the other people, my friends, and they were bowing down, approaching, because they changed, because I knew them since my birth and stuff. And
But you didn't know them,
no, actually, because I knew them even before that, because we used to have another Sheikh and all this stuff, living, going out, doing stuff and stuff. And then when I met him, it was just my friend was saying he wanted to visit you to know what it's about, what we're living, what we say, what's going on in general with us, because he says that we changed a little bit, even if it didn't change totally and stuff, but we're changing and changing. So at some point he says, that was one of the words I think that that was the first day that I knew really what those words really mean. And he said, here we don't talk about ourselves. It's about God. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about him. It's only about God. And the only way you could you could attain that level of spirituality, because we all used to know spirituality. Like here in Senegal, you can hear like all the mosques do their praying and everything. Like on Fridays we go to the mosque and we do stuff and stuff. It's all the cultural, I would say, Islam. It's not Islam what it means really. And when you say that, I didn't utter any words at all. I was just listening to him, and he said the only way that you can attain that level would be to pledge allegiance. And I was just like, I'm ready right now. I want to do it right now. I came for that actually. And he says, and he kept going about what it is, what we do, what we say, and how you should change. He didn't really use the word should, but just how we can know that you are living in a certain way. So that was my discovery actually. I was really happy. It was 2006, I think around January. Yeah.
There I can say that, like they said in the Quran, said, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu ittaqullaha wabtaghu ilayhi alwasila. Meaning that you who really trust in God, you have to find somebody who will lead you so that you can adore him in the right way. People are just acting by themselves, by their own knowledge, without trying to go further. If we come to the social life, trying to get financial success or something else, not spiritual, you can see people, whenever they feel that they have a kind of lack, they cannot go ahead because they miss something, so they go to a teacher, like they can involve in a school, a professional school, just to get that knowledge, because they aware that they cannot. So the way they do it, why can't they do it when it is about the spirituality, about religion? We were born without knowledge, and everything, when we succeeded to do it, it was with the help of somebody. For example, when we were born, we could not like move. We could not really eat ourselves. We could not make a bath ourselves. But there was our parents there who could help us until we grow up and be able to do all those things. And Sheikh Musaa is always saying that people have three kind of leaders that are in their life. The first one is the one that God has according to you, like meaning your parents. God chose them for you, and they're the one who do those things I said earlier. And after that, they can choose another leader for you, just to teach you Quran, how to act in the laws for the Islam and all other things, how to pray, all that kind of things. And after that, when you are aware about all those things, you have to find a real spiritual leader who can make all those things you are doing ensured, so that God accepts all those things. And I think that is what we have to do. And Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba says something too. He says, Man talabal wusul lil jalil fal yahtasim bi sunnati rasul bi an yulazima mutihan la yamil fi zahir anis sabil. Zahir wa batin anis sabil. He says that whoever wants to go to the kingdom of God, like reach the purity, so you have to follow the laws set here by the Prophet, by following a spiritual leader who knows the way in its visible and invisible aspects. So you want something, know that they have drawn the way you have to go to reach it. If you do not do it, make yourself sure that you are not able to, you won't be able to get it. Maybe you can be doing all the things, pretending that you are the white Muslim, but you're not the right one. I'm sorry for that.
Of course, because what 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 says that someone is this or that, or what he does, or everything that is a character of a person. You can manage it all just knowing what kind of knowledge he has. So if let's say about school, like you go to school to speak one language, you go to school to learn about the world, to learn about everything actually. But each of those knowledge teach you that there is something else that you don't know. That's my message of it. Like each of everything that you learn, you just like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, there is something else to know, and again, you keep going on that way until you just like, okay, all of it, where is it going? Because you know, like, you everything, like even when you see the society, there is a certain way that it is built, because you're from a family. Only the family is a society, but let's say that's the minus level of the society, and then you keep going, you keep growing. Actually, you're raised on a certain way, and you find out when you just go outside before going to school. You find out even in your neighborhood, like other people, their way of life. Some are Muslims, those are Christians, those are Murid, those are from Tanzania and stuff. So at some point, you just need to say like, okay, right now, I'm a young adult or I'm me, but what really defines me? What really defines me? Like, who am I? And for that question, who am I? Who am I? You'd go to say, not really. I cannot say, because this is your leg, this is your face, this is your tongue, this is this is that. But that doesn't really define who you are. So that was that question mainly, actually, that made me do research about Sufism, and for a long way to go to meet Sheikh Musaa today. I love to give these examples. I would say the interest. I don't even want to use the word interest. I would say the need, actually, because it's the same for parents to his children or to one child, for a teacher to the disciples, for the teacher to the students, for the world to the humans in general, because we're here to learn. Every single day we seek knowledge around every single thing that is around you. As I was saying about the spiritual guide and about knowledge in general, that we seek knowledge from anything. And for us Muslims, and in general for any religion, actually, the messengers was sent with the message. But that message is still here. We say that the final messenger was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the message is still here. So all the people, all the spiritual guide that that call people upon, because there is one God, or you need to pray, you need to do this or do that, God is this or that. They're just conveying the same message. So they're part of that message. They're messengers too. Because the message would never have an end wherever people are. Because even if you were just me and you, me and someone else, or me, only me, I would tend to think about what is the purpose of life, actually. What am I doing here? Do I have a goal? Do I need to pretend on that way? What do I do in general in my life? Because when you're born, you're just raised in a certain way. They made you go to school, Quranic, or whatever it is, and you kept going in that way till at some point you realize that you're here and you need to do something about it. So the spiritual guide is, I would say, is the link, actually. The link, as the Prophet was the link with the Sahabas to God, because he's the one who has the message, who understands it really, who know what is the purpose of this message, why God has sent messages. And God said, He said, we send messages through you, and amongst you, messengers are going to come to tell you about what I want in this life, and what keep you living. Actually, it's not for you need to eat, to drink, and stuff. And even those could be a spiritual guide, because we need to follow in any way. You believe you follow something, you don't believe you follow something. If you don't follow a person, if you don't follow your teacher, you would never know, let's say about mathematics, you would never know how to do calculations. If you don't know how to draw like houses, how to make cars, if you don't learn any of it, you would never have the courage, or I would say to be that foolish to try to say something that you don't know about, to do something that you have no knowledge of. So at some point, the spiritual guide is the one who put you on the path. And once he has put you on the path to do exactly, to be, I would say, the best human being that you can be.
Yeah, for that question, I just can say that the relationship between a leader and his disciple is just knowledge. If there wasn't knowledge, so there wouldn't be any relationship. Sheikh Musaa says that the leader is somebody who knows the way and who knows how to guide somebody until he reach what he needs. And the disciple is somebody who knows what he's looking for, and he doesn't know how to go that way just to get it. And they go together just to help each other to reach their goal. And it is said that before choosing a spiritual leader, you have to check him if he's the right one. Because it said that all things that are round are not cookies. Whatever is shining is not diamond or gold. We have to know it. Sometimes we just can see some spiritual leaders who are like well dressed, but what they tell you is not what you need, really. Because at home we left there how to pray, how to fast, how to do all those kind of things. So if you come to a spiritual leader and that he just tells you about those kind of things, though he's not somebody adding you something, you have nothing in additional, So a wise spiritual leader is the one who really make you aware about what you are doing in its essence, making you know that God is not the one you were expecting him to be, like the one who created the heaven, all the things, people, just that. But he is someone we have to know, and he shows you that God, and you will know it and avoid it on the right way.
About Senegal, it's a complicated environment, I would say, because we, at first, when Serigne Touba called at first for people to come to him, and there were scholars. They used to teach even. They used to teach with him. They didn't have disciples, but they had students. They were learning Quran, they were learning Hadith, they were learning religion in general, but they were not that part of it that makes it the spiritual guide and the follower. They were just the part that is knowledge. We teach you something that is in one book, and then you recite it. You don't really need to understand or to go even further than what they're trying to teach you. Yeah, exactly. They were no deep intention. Actually, I would say it's a big word, I'd say, but there was no deep intention. It's just for the knowledge. But that same knowledge, coming like nowadays, that same knowledge should bind them actually. But most of the case, you come. Let's say the spiritual guide would be, his name would be Mbake, his name would be C. His name would be any of the names here in Senegal, and he would be only that. Whenever you go to him, he would just say, everything's gonna be okay. Just do your prayers, do what is on the 5 pillars, and that's it. And you knew that even before you came here. You knew that even if like you were doing it, you were making it on purpose. But at that point, you realize that there is still something missing. Because if you see, like, if you analyze Senegal in general, you see 98% or 95%, I'm not sure, of the population are Muslims. But you see their character in general, how they react to stuff, how they react to news, how they live even in the neighborhood. And you like, there's something missing. Because they read it all, they pray, they go to the mosque, they have even a spiritual guide. So what are they talking about when they go to the spiritual guide? Most of the time they only go there to ask for prayers, and to give money. That's what they do. They give money and that's it. So at some point, what is it about? You're not here to receive money and only to say it's going to be okay, everything's going to be okay. Okay, I know everything's going to be okay, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the truth of any religion, and that is God. It's not about he's Muslim, he's Christian, he's something, he doesn't believe in God. We all, that's what I used to say, we all, when you speak with someone, we all come together when it's about God. Because when you talk about God, you believe or you don't believe. So from that point, you can go even further away to talk about he's Muslim, he's Christian, he's that. But the main subject would be God. And if you don't talk about God with your spiritual guide, what or where will he guide you to? What is he for? I used to say that everything that is happening nowadays, it already happened with the Prophet. He was living with his cousins, even with his family. When he first brought up the thing about there is only one God, they used to have a lot of gods, and they just like, no, he was raised with us. He's my nephew, he's my cousin, he lives at the next door, or something like that. So at first they were just like, no, we don't know that. We have a lot of gods, and we pray to them, and we have what we intend in those prayers. So why would we go to one God? We have like tons of gods, and it was not working. Why would we go to one God? And it's the same thing right nowadays. When Sheikh Musaa came, he talked about seeing God. Actually, he talked about seeing God. He talked about living God. He talked about God consciousness, and everything was God. He was just talking about God. And there is a part of it. He was saying that if I'm speaking about God, do not expect me to talk about your spiritual guide or this one's spiritual guide. I would only talk about God. And the thing is, like, whenever in like, if you've read or learned about all the story of all the religions, they at first when the message come, the population used to say, what is he talking about? Or it's not real, or he's taking it from genes or something somewhere else, or he's a fool, or but that's the same thing, because it's just those prophets or those messengers, they were saying message that they don't understand. And whenever human being in general doesn't understand something that you're saying, they would just bring up stuff saying that you're a fool, or you don't understand nothing, or you need not to follow someone talking about one God, or talking about seeing God. But if you don't, for that same subject, if you don't see God, what do we see? God says that he's the first, he's the last. He's the hidden, he's the shown. So what would you say? Like, that is only clear, only for that. But you need, whenever you bring a message, a new message, that's the same message, but they all renew it, because that's what God like did since from Adam. But the thing is, whenever you bring up a new message, you need to explain it anew. But and the only thing that bring up curiosity made people come to you, and some people, like the intelligent people, would come to you and say, what do you mean? What do you mean one God for that time? But what do you mean in our days? What do you mean you see God, it's only God around here, this is God, oh God, oh God, oh God. But that would make them come to you and ask you questions. And whenever they come to you, you would tell them about things they've already known, I would say, but at some extent. And you would go from that extent to God. From that extent, that knowledge that the spiritual guide should be giving you, because most of them, they don't do it at all. That knowledge is the one that makes you of a greater character. Because God says to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he said that he's for sure of a great character. Because for the same with Sheikh Musaa, they say he's fool or he's crazy. Where is he taking it from? It's nowhere in the Sharia, it's nowhere in the Quran, and go and so on and so forth. But the thing is, like, whenever you bring up something new, people would always be talking bad about you. And that's why at some point God says in the Quran, didn't I send you messenger from your own community to speak with your own tongue? But people, they just they have the same reaction, because we're human beings in general, and it's always complicated to make everybody happy, even on the worldly things. So it's more even complicated when you talk about God, because that's something that they believe but they don't trust. That's belief and trust. They don't trust God. That's the problem.
Sometimes it's a little bit hard to answer this question, but I just can say to let them talk, because there is nobody in this earth who's doing something without having other people talking on your back. Whether you do something bad or good, they will talk. And those people talking, it's not us talking about them, but them always talking about us. It seems like we are doing something that they do not like, and I'm aware that what they dislike is not us ourselves, our body, because those people talking, they're our family or our friends or the other people around us. So what they dislike is not our body, but what we are talking about. And we are just talking about religion. If we come into religion, we see that they're Muslim maybe, or they're Christian, or they believe in the same God. So if we say that you and I, we believe in the same thing, we are doing the same thing, but you criticize me, it seems that there is something that is not really understood about me or about you. And that's thing that they cannot understand, is that we tell them that we have to know God.
Oh, the message would be the only one. There's no God but God. That would be the first message, but you need to explain it a little bit further for some people, that because there's reality of that. We don't need to take it just as words. It's a way of life, actually, because the Prophet, as I was saying earlier, God said he's he's with a great character, but that character made help you live the life, but I would say in the best way ever. Because religion, we take, even like in the present day, they take religion as something that is for the hereafter. It's not for a way of life, because they take religion, they put it in the mosque, in the church, or like the religious places. But I would say to those youth, like I'm part of it, but I would say to them that the first way to go would be to believe in one God. Because a lot of people, they talk about God, they just like chit-chatting about God, but they're not really trying to know who is God. what are his characteristics, like is he here, how he is, like there's a lot of books talking about God and stuff. The Quran is here, but not everybody is able to read the Quran and say exactly, to understand it, or to just say that this is that. You see a lot of people trying to interpret Quran, but they're just giving interpretations from their own knowledge. So if they're gonna only speak for that extent. They can go even further away or stuff. So for that youth, they need benchmarks, and those benchmarks are the role models that we have in all societies, like in the all around the world. So if at first they would go to take those role models, what would they learn from them? Because you need a role model. If you're born like within, I would say, horses, you wouldn't ever know how to speak like human being. So if you are with human being, you would, the best way would be to check who has a great character. How that's the way that I see it actually. Who has the best way of life, not in the worldly, not only for the worldly part of it, but in all types of characteristic that made someone a human being. Because I like to give that example. If you see someone doing things on some way, I would say, you would say that you're just acting like a donkey, or you're just acting like an animal. It's just that they took that part of that animal and acting that way, living that way, I would say, at some extent. Because let's say about like, I wouldn't go to that subject, but it's really a complicated way to go. So we only need benchmarks, and those benchmarks, if you're a Muslim, we have a lot of them. If you don't believe that this spiritual guide, you can believe to the other one. But the most of them is the messenger. The messenger, his life is here. There are movies about him. There are books about him. Even people talk about him all the time. So you need to take him, if you cannot see God, if you cannot understand what God is about, or all the stuff, and just learn from him. And that's the sunnah.
Yeah, my last word for Sheikh Musaa Touré is just that I'm very thankful toward him, because if he wasn't here, so I do not know what I would be. I do not know what I would be, and I'm just praying for him that he becomes higher and higher and have a too long life with all his disciples and never be disappointed by his disciple, because the only one thing that he wants is that we keep that word called Tawhid in Arabic, meaning like the unicity of God, not associating him. It is just that he wants us to keep. I wish that his wishes becomes true in the future, yeah, and through us, who is his disciple.
At first, I would like to thank Sheikh Musaa Touré for having me. It's always complicated to explain it, but the main thing that I would like to express, that would be that it's peace actually. It's peace that you have here and in the ever after. But the thing is about here, most people, they're all looking for good things about peace, because everything is peace actually. When you sleep, it's peace. When you eat, it's peace. When you drink, it's peace. All those things are peace. But the thing about human being, we will go even further and get back to know what we had first. We would go around the world, and as the proverb said, what goes around turn back around, and you would have a long way around to look for peace and you had it first. It's you, actually. If you have peace in your mind, everybody is gonna have peace. And they talk about development, and they talk about society, and they talk about the youth that is not working, and on what they're doing, and all those stuff. It's like cancer, actually, in a society. And if you want to get rid of it, you need to educate people. You need to go and give knowledge to people, because knowledge is the weapon, actually. Knowledge is even more, like, even bigger than any weapon that we have created. Because any weapon that we see or that we have learned or anything is from knowledge. People, they were like you and me, they were living a certain way of life, and at some point they say, oh, we need a house, and then we need chairs, and then we need this or that. We need plane to go faster and further away. And that's that same knowledge that make you who you are. So if you want to have all that peace, if you want to live happily on the extent of world, only the worldly life, just look for that knowledge. And that knowledge, that's them, they had it. And it's coming from all the prophets, it's coming from God. Because when you speak, you can talk about Quran, you can talk about Hadith, you can talk about Bible, you can talk about any books, but that's not your knowledge. Because the real knowledge is coming from you, from within you, deep down inside. Even when you don't even need to speak to know that someone has a knowledge. Only on his way of life, only on his acting, you can say that he has knowledge. And our knowledge is from Sheikh Musaa today. And we thank you too for giving us this opportunity and ask us questions that people were asking and that we are speaking in English, because our mother tongue is Wolof or French or whatever. But it's great. Thank you very much.
La ilaha illallah.